Hi guys, it's Hillary with I'm Like Brave, a blog all about creating an uncommon life you love through entrepreneurship. Each week I interview a creative entrepreneur and I ask them about their story, the behind the scenes, their successes and their failures in hopes that all of us can be inspired and learn from each other. So I am here today with Angela, who
Hello.
owns who owns Threads Worldwide with her best friends Lindsay and Kara, and it is a fair trade jewelry company that is marketed by women all around the US. So thanks for being with us, Angela.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so before we talk about your business, tell us a little bit about yourself and your backstory.
Sure. So let's see. I'm originally from Oregon, and that's where I met Lindsay. She and I met in high school. And then I went to school out east in Boston, and that's where I met Kara on the volleyball court. And then Kara and I moved to Colorado about 15 years ago, and we've been living here ever since. She lives up in Boulder. I live in Denver, and let's see, just recently got engaged and just moved in with my fiance, which is a whole new venture.
Congratulations.
And yeah, I guess that's a little bit about me.
Okay. And so your one partner lives in Boulder. Where does your other friend live?
She lives 10 houses away from me. We were roommates until about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then she got married. She moved in with her husband, and then she moved just right down the street. So it's almost the same as it has been.
Okay, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
so why did you guys start Threads together? And what did it look like growing it the first few years?
Yeah. So we started because the three of us have traveled really all around the world together. And whenever we were traveling in a developing country, we would see how the people were living, like the living conditions of people around the world. And we knew that we wanted to do something about that. And we would always play around with different business ideas. And then finally we came up with Threads. And it was like, once we realized that we came up with the idea of Threads, we just knew we wanted to get started on it. And then the backstory of how we got started, right? So we started in 2011, and that's when we got our first products really and launched our website.
Okay.
And then after that, about at the end of 2012, we brought on our first what we call Thread sales consultant.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've been growing ever since. So we work with women really all around the United States to sell the jewelry that's made by the women in developing countries.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit more about how you developed those connections with developing countries?
Yeah. So part of it is because of our travels, and we would just network and we would meet different people. And then, once you get into something, you start getting referrals. We would go to different conferences. There's a big show in New York called New York Now, and there's a section that has fair trade and handmade and global items.
Okay.
And so we went there and we met with a lot of the partners that we work with today.
Okay.
And just from there we just have been growing and talking with people all over the world.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about, as you were growing, the biggest failure you encountered and what you learned from it?
Yeah. I would say the biggest one that comes to mind is when we first started, we had a WordPress website, and we knew that we wanted to get into something bigger that could support, as we grew.
Mm-hmm.
And so my background is in e-commerce. And so it was on me to research different platforms that we could build out our website on. And so I went and I looked all around at different agencies that were great at e-commerce platforms. And then as we started to build it, we were retrofitting it for our business, because our business isn't purely e-commerce. I mean, people can buy online, but about 95% of our sales come from our sales reps, our sales team. So they go and they place orders. So we need to track unique things like sales commissions directly through the website, hostess rewards, because people who host parties earn jewelry. So there are all these different unique things that we had to track. And I didn't even know that something existed out there that would do that for us. So we were spending all of this energy and time and money retrofitting a system that didn't work. And we went to this conference and we learned about, there were probably 10 different companies that do this very thing. And it was, once we discovered it, it was like, it just kept me up at night, realizing all that we had lost in terms of putting our money in the wrong place, and then the opportunity cost as well.
Uh-huh.
So that was the biggest mistake for sure. And what I learned from it, is that the second, that's the second part? Yeah. So what I learned from it was, really it was one of those things that was like, it was completely in my blind spot. I mean, I had no idea. I didn't even know that I could go and look for these kind of system. And so the biggest thing that I've learned from that is to really, instead of spending all of my time researching things through Google or online, to spend it with my network and going and talking with people and saying, this is the current challenge. What do you think about this? Or who do you know that I should talk to about it? One, it's more interesting than just spending time online, but also it's faster and more effective. I mean, I know if I had talked to just a couple people about this, it would have put us on a completely different path.
Okay. No, I love that. I mean, the same thing with my husband and my business. Like we went through so many years where we would hit a spot where we didn't know what to do next. And so we would spend like 6 months trying to create it ourselves instead of just asking someone else, because so many people are willing to tell you if you just ask.
People love it.
I know.
I love it when people ask me questions and I can contribute to them.
Totally. Don't reinvent the wheel. Focus on what you're good at.
Yeah, exactly. That
was great. What would you say your biggest business strength is? Like if you were to teach a college course on business, what would you teach?
That's a good question. I would teach it on, and I think that it's somewhat related to this failure, is I would teach it around building a network and networking and making those connections. And, the answers really are out there already. Somebody has that experience. So I would teach around, if that's even such a thing, but I would teach around how to network and find the answers in your community.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I would take that course.
Okay, good.
So what would you say while you were building Threads, what is the single best business decision that you guys made?
Okay, this is a great decision we finally made, and we made it way too late, and that was to hire people who do things better than we could ever do them. So when we first started, we were so small, and so we thought we had to do everything ourselves. And then we realized, well, one, we aren't good at some of those things, and two, our time would be better spent on something else, right? With some other part of the business that would actually help the business grow. So we finally hired 2 people permanently. We're working with a couple of different agencies, but they're more contract basis. But we hired somebody, Michelle, as our administrative assistant, and she's awesome. She does things so much faster than I ever could, and she thinks about things like what the bottleneck will be before we get there. And then Hannah, she's our marketing and content manager, and she's awesome as well. So it's just so nice too to have those things off of my plate and off of Lindsay and Kara's plate, so we can go and do the things that we love and that we're good at.
Is she like your admin assistant, like a virtual assistant, or actually someone here that works for you?
She works in Denver.
Okay, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's like the phrase I always hear, do what you do best and hire the rest.
Yes, exactly. We had to learn that the hard way.
Cool. So what would you say it has been the best way you've chosen to market your business?
The best way? Well, I think something that is really working for us and something that's unique to our business is we sell through women in the United States. So people come on and they go and they sell and network and market to their communities. And something that's really starting to work for us is to create content for the salespeople first. So we don't go directly to the customer right away. We want to fuel their businesses and really support their businesses by giving them the marketing materials early. So if we have like a promotion or, a fundraiser or something like that, we give it to them first to go and market. And then a couple of days later, we start to market it. So it's all the traditional channels, social media and things like that, but it's really helping us to get it into their hands first.
Okay, and you said, we didn't really touch on this yet, but how many, or maybe we did, how many women do you have working for you that are doing your sales?
Yeah, so in the United States, we have about 35 what we call Threads sales consultants,
Okay.
and they're coast to coast all over the place. And it's just a direct sales model. So they have parties and go to fundraisers and things like that, and festivals, and talk about fair trade and educate on fair trade, and then also sell our artisan partners jewelry.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so well, actually, I'm skipping ahead. What would you say has been the best thing or like the most awesome thing that's happened to your business since you started?
Oh, well, I think that I might have answered this too. I mean, the best thing, honestly, was our very first sale. I loved that, and granted, it was from my dad to my mom. My dad bought my mom.
I saw that.
But still, I think that it counts. It was awesome.
Totally.
But I think, sort of like I just answered with hiring people,
Mm-hmm.
but something different is that, like a different angle on it is really exciting for us. And honestly, it's sort of validating for us that people are willing to spend their time working with us.
Yeah.
Like it just is really, it's exciting. Like we feel like, okay, we're a real company. The first time you get your business cards and you're like, oh, look at my business card. Like this is real, or your website launches, you're like, this is real. And it's like, we have employees. This is real.
Yeah.
It's like this fun realization that, I don't know, it just makes it more exciting, it gives us momentum every day.
Yeah, that's totally great. I always think I have these phases where I'm like, am I just playing business? Like, am I just playing house or business? But then I'm like, no, it's real. I have packaging or like stuff like that. But I totally get that.
Real. Somebody bought something from me.
Yeah.
Exciting.
That is exciting. So what would you say, like, how does Threads allow you and your friends to live an uncommon lifestyle?
Yeah. Well, I think that it's sort of built into Threads from the ground up. First of all, I get to work with my two best friends, so that's uncommon, I think. But we really get to work with women all over the world who want to better the world, better their families and their children's opportunities and things like that. And so, there's so many women in the US who I talk with, and they want to volunteer, they want to make a difference, but they don't really have the time, or maybe they don't know how or where to get started. And so, through our business, we're able to give people that opportunity. And it's just like every conversation I'm in is encouraging and inspiring and exciting. And, I don't know. I guess that if that answers it, when we get to travel around the world and like really see tangibly on the ground how we're making a difference for people.
That's really cool. I remember you telling me how you just travel and go see all of the makers and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we were there when we were in Guatemala. One of the artisan partner groups that we work with, they had earned enough money to get 2 light bulbs. So that way they have light at night now from solar power.
Wow.
So, yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff. I mean, just they were installing it while we were there. That's
incredible.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So what would you say are your long-term goals for Threads? Like, where do you see it heading?
Yeah. I'm sure a common answer is like just to get bigger, which is ours as well. But I think, with us, we really have a goal to triple this year. So like I said, we have about 35 sales consultants. We want to get to 100 by the end of this year. And we know that that's really possible. And we know, I think what that gives us is we want to be able to have this long-term relationship with our artisan partners in a way that we can guarantee them consistent business. They're so often companies go into developing countries and they place one big order and then they leave and that's it. And it's nice that they got that work, but we want to be able to provide them consistent income that they can rely on and really start to invest in their future. And, I guess I don't have anything like measurable about that, but that's what I would say. That's like our goal. That's what we want to get to, is where we can like consistently know who we're working with and know the difference that we're making.
That's great. It must feel awesome to have a business that I don't know, as you grow, your impact is getting larger and larger. Like you're directly giving back with everything that you do.
Yeah, it's built into the mission of the company. So
yeah, that's so great. So any parting advice that you have to other entrepreneurs out there who have small businesses, or for anyone thinking about starting a business?
yeah, I would say just whatever it is, just start. We didn't have Threads wasn't the first idea that we had. We played around with a lot of things and we modeled out, if the finances would work or if we were excited about it. And thank goodness those other things didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
But I just say just research, just start figuring out, talking to people about it. Again, using your network and find out if it's something viable that people would be interested in. And just keep going, knowing even if it's not the perfect answer right away, you don't come up with it right away, just keep going, just start and keep going.
That's great. That's great advice. Like momentum is so powerful, even if it's not 100% right.
Yeah, just do it. Just start. Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Angela, taking the time out of your day. And
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I think we learned a ton from you, and I hope all of you have a great Monday. Bye.
Bye.